Today I'm going to show you the 5 things you need to learn if you want to become a better e-commerce marketer, make more sales, and grow your online store. There are also a few very dangerous and very expensive e-commerce marketing mistakes that you definitely want to avoid, so I'm going to be warning you about these as we go along. So make sure to pay careful attention because these are expensive mistakes that could completely ruin your campaign or get your business shut down or blacklisted. So in order to become a better e-commerce marketer, the first thing you need to master is copywriting. Get this wrong or ignore it altogether and it doesn't matter what you do next, because nothing's gonna work. This is because in e-commerce, you only have a few seconds in order to make a compelling argument for why someone should stick around and buy. Take a look at your online store's traffic and analytics and try to find your bounce rate, or the percentage of people who click the back button and never come back. Is it 90%? 95%? 99%? Whatever the case, these are lost sales opportunities from people who saw what you had to offer, but then decided that it just wasn't for them, or that they didn't want it bad enough in order to stick around and to see the purchase through to completion. And this is why copywriting is so important. Once someone arrives at your online store, you only have a second in order to hook them and to show them that what you have is right for them and to get them to purchase. So here are a few tips to help. First, people buy solutions, but a solution is meaningless without the context of a problem. So start by first identifying their problem, their biggest problem, and the thing that your offer is best able to solve. Next, copywriting, or copy in this case, is more than just the words you use. It's also pictures, videos, and anything else you can include to show off the best side of what you have to offer. So spend the time and money and invest in professional-looking media. Third, customer testimonials and reviews also fall under the copy category. Social proof is a powerful persuasive tool, so make sure to include positive customer reviews anywhere you can. But there's another area of e-commerce that being able to come up with good copy helps with as well, and that's with paid advertising. Paid advertising is still one of the best ways to generate traffic and leads and sales for e-commerce. It's no longer my favorite way, and I'll talk more about that in just a second, but it's still an incredibly powerful and profitable tool in order to make sales. That said, there are a few things that you need to look out for, especially today with rising competition and advertising costs and increased challenges with tracking and pixels and all of that privacy stuff. First, the key to succeeding with paid ads, whether we're talking about Facebook ads, Google ads, Instagram ads, or anything else, is finding ways to decrease your CPS, or cost per sale, while simultaneously increasing your AOV, or average order value. Now, decreasing your cost per sale comes down to a number of factors, including, quite frankly, just creating a better ad. Now, I appreciate this is a pretty important topic, so I'll make sure to link up a video at the end of this one that'll walk you through a better way to advertise on Facebook, which you can also apply to a number of different platforms as well. The other way to make your paid advertising campaigns more profitable, though, is actually a whole lot easier and more controllable, as it doesn't have anything to do with the different advertising platforms, their algorithms, or your competition on those platforms. And that is to increase your AOV, or average order value. And there are a few easy ways to do this. First, you can increase your AOV, average order value, by adding upsells and cross-sells and downsells. This is where, after someone has made a purchase, well, you can immediately offer them something more expensive, an upsell, something less expensive, a downsell, or some kind of complementary product to whatever it is that they just bought, a cross-sell. For example, if I was selling pet monsters, yes, the one pet guaranteed to keep your kids from ever sleeping again, well, I could sell the main model of monster for, let's say, $100. But I could also offer an upgraded version of the pet monster for, say, $200. And this would be an upsell. I could also offer pet monster food. After all, it's gonna need to eat and you don't want them eating your kids. And that food is only $50, and that's a cross-sell. And if that was too expensive, or they wanted something more simple, or they wanted to add a friend for their pet monster, well, I could offer them the very basic version for only $50, let's say, and that would be a downsell. Another way to increase your AOV, or average order value, is by bundling products together. So for example, instead of buying, say, just one bottle of Adam's Magic Marketing Juice, well, you can now buy them in packs of 3. And they come in a few different flavors, including everybody's favorite, Mystery Blue. What could it be? It's just blue raspberry. Another thing you can do is include retargeting ads and an email follow-up sequence in order to recapture lost sales or abandoned cart sequences. And all of these will naturally increase the number of sales that you're making, which means an increased ROI, or return on investment. That's a good thing. Of course, tracking what works and what doesn't is another incredibly important piece of the puzzle. So on that note, I'd like to introduce you to today's sponsor, Triple Whale. Triple Whale provides simplified and holistic e-commerce e-commerce reporting that allows you to centralize all of your metrics from the different tools you use into a nice, clean, and easy-to-use app. It integrates with Facebook, Shopify, Klaviyo, TikTok, Google Analytics, Pinterest, and more. And you can use it to track your e-commerce profits, blended ROAS, make LTV predictions so you can forecast and track your most crucial metrics, and even map out your entire customer journey. You can use the e-commerce calculator to record changes to understand how they affect your store, and you can send daily, weekly, or monthly automated reports to anyone in your company. Basically, it's an incredibly powerful e-commerce tool, so definitely make sure to check out Triple Whale by clicking the link in the descriptions below this video. And when you use code ADAM, you'll also get 15% off. So with that said, the next skill that will really help your e-commerce business is mastering, or at the very least understanding, influencer marketing. Influencer marketing is an interesting topic to talk about because it's still relatively new, at least when compared to older and more established industries like SEO and social media, things like that. That said, the key to making influencer marketing work for your e-commerce business comes down to a few overlapping principles. First, and probably most important of all, you need to make sure that the influencer you're deciding to work with is a good fit and a good match for the audience that you're trying to serve. For example, if you know for a fact that the bulk of your buyers are, say, males between the ages of 30 and 40, well then it simply doesn't make sense to work with, say, a beauty influencer whose target market is females between the ages of 18 and 28. Even if they have millions and millions of followers, doesn't matter, because they're not the right fit for your business. The next factor that you need to consider is your overall budget and the value that you're assigning to this influencer and to access to their audience through the reach and the number of traffic or impressions or clicks that you're going to get. And then finally is the funnel. This often overlooked aspect is another incredibly important part because it's what's going to happen after the influencer sends traffic to your site or to your store or to wherever else you want to guide them to. Essentially, what's going to happen after someone clicks on that link? What does the funnel look like? What does the offer look like? How are you going to entice someone in? And how are you going to follow up with them over time? The key here is to really make sure that it's optimized for conversions. Now, one element of this is, of course, to go over all of the copywriting things that we talked about, but another important element is email marketing, which is the next skill that you definitely want to master in order to become a better e-commerce marketer. So let's talk about that now. It doesn't matter what business, market, or industry you're doing e-commerce marketing for. The fact is that email is a universally accepted form of communication that basically everybody uses. Yes, SMS marketing and text marketing are great. Yes, social media is important and where you can find your customers online. And yes, paid online ads like Facebook ads and Google ads are a great way to drive more targeted traffic to your store. But none of those compare to the power of email. Period. In fact, one of the first things I do when working with a new e-com client is to look at their email marketing strategy. And I kid you not, every single time I've done this over the past 10 years, we've been able to increase sales and revenue quickly and easily. All with just good old-fashioned email. Email is still the preferred form of communication among most people, including millennials and Gen Z. And it's a much more conversational and intimate platform with the power to make a lot of sales very quickly. Email is one of the trickier marketing tools to master though, and there is a big mistake you want to avoid making. And that is, you want to avoid sending marketing emails that look and feel like marketing emails. This part's super important, so let me say it again. The more your marketing email looks, feels, sounds, smells, tastes like a marketing email, the more likely your customers are to see right through it, and the more likely it is to be completely ignored or sent directly to spam. So what exactly does a marketing email look like or taste like? You know what I'm talking about. They're the overly designed HTML loaded emails with the big banners and the flashing images and way too many graphics and things that slow down your browser. They've got coupons and discounts and all kinds of spammy, sleazy, salesy language in them. Essentially, they just scream marketer. And they scream, I'm trying to sell you something, which isn't necessarily bad. I mean, sales is an important element of your business, but sometimes you don't want to be so obvious about it. There's another side to this as well, which is that most email servers, being Gmail and Yahoo and Outlook, well, they don't like these kind of emails. So they're far more likely to get labeled as promotional or sent directly to your junk or to your spam mail. One of the best pieces of advice that I can give you when it comes to writing better and more effective and higher converting emails for your e-commerce business is to try to write your emails conversationally and like you were writing them to your best customer. Keep them in mind and write like you would to them, not like you would as if you're writing to 1,000 or 10,000 or 100,000 people. Remember, at the end of the day, it's not 100,000 people reading that email. It's one at a time. An email is a very personal and very intimate form of communication that's often read from a mobile device, sometimes while still in bed. It doesn't get much more personal than that. Mastering the skill of writing non-salesy marketing emails that actually make sales is an incredibly important and valuable skill though, with many other benefits as well. Mainly the fact that you can take pretty much everything that you learn while writing these emails and apply it directly to the next skill that you definitely need to master, which is content creation. I know that you know that I know that you know that content marketing is one of the most important and valuable skills you can have as an e-commerce marketer. So I'm not gonna sit here and try to convince you that it's important. I mean, I know, you know, he knows. So what I am going to do is give you a very simple framework that I use to come up with dozens and dozens of pieces of new content every single week. It sounds impressive until you learn my secret. And then, like learning the secret to a magic trick, it kind of sucks all the fun out of it. But on the flip side, you will make a whole lot more money. So I think it's a worthy trade-off. How you make this work as an e-commerce marketer is you first start with a pillar piece of content. If you like writing, this could be a blog. If you have a podcast, it could be a podcast episode. And if you don't mind video, it could be a long-form YouTube video. From there, structure your content so it's made up of about 3 to 5 main points and an intro and an outro. Then, get to work, record your thing, and when it's done, you can strip out those 3 to 5 main points and turn them into emails and social media posts and quotes and graphics and tweets. And from there, you can repurpose them even further by turning them into stories and carousels and other kinds of emails and other kinds of tweets and basically anything else you can think of. And just like that, you've taken one larger and longer form piece of content and turned it into 12 or more different pieces of smaller content that you can share across multiple different social media platforms. You can do this manually by uploading them individually to each of the following sites, or my personal preference is to use a piece of software called Metricool, so I'll link that up in the descriptions below as well. Content marketing is obviously important, but like I mentioned earlier, one of the fastest ways to quickly scale up your e-commerce business is through the use of paid online advertising like Google ads and Facebook ads. And that's why I've linked up a video right here on a better way to advertise on Facebook that's working incredibly well right now. So make sure to check it out now, and I'll see you in the next video. Get this wrong, and it doesn't matter how smart or funny or creative your ads are. They're not gonna work. Next is something called the 40-40-20 rule. Every great